Gaming has given us some incredible inventions over the years, but it has also given us a chainsaw controller, bongos, and yes, a vibrator.
Uh-oh, it's Sandy.
There was a time when gaming companies genuinely weren't afraid to try anything, but all of them came from an era where gaming felt unpredictable, and honestly, that might just be why we remember them. Gaming has been around for decades, and in that time, we've seen thousands of accessories hit the market, while others, well, they kind of made you stop and wonder how they were approved in the first place. Companies were experimenting, throwing ideas at the wall just to see what would stick. Take the Wii for example. Games like Mario Kart Wii introduced the plastic steering wheel, something that realistically didn't really add anything new, no buttons, no new features. Yet somehow, it made the experience more immersive. See, I remember owning one of those sports packs that you would attach on the Wii remote, and to be honest, it wasn't anything special. Literally, it was just a hunk of plastic, just hollow and everything. One of the earliest of these experimentations that companies were having was Nintendo introducing Rob, aka the Robotic Operating Buddy. Released alongside the NES, Rob was essentially marketed as a robotic companion that would act as a second player in games like Gyromite and Stack Up. Now this may sound a little bit strange today, but it was actually all part of this bigger plan that Nintendo was having. You see, after the video game crash of 1983, retailers were hesitant to even stock gaming consoles, so Nintendo positioned the NES as more of a toy, and Rob helped sell that idea. And to be fair, he looked incredible for the time. But if we were honest, it really didn't do much. Still, Rob never really disappeared. He went on to live in other Nintendo titles and became a surprisingly iconic part of gaming history. Now, of course, my favorite accessories were the ones that pushed boundaries a little bit more. Instead of you sitting down and playing the game normally, I always liked the part that gaming felt more physical. Take Donkey Kong Jungle Beat on the GameCube, and instead of controller, you use bongos. You'd hit them to move, clap to jump, and pound onto them to attack enemies, and honestly, it probably drove a few parents insane. Definitely not the kind of game that you wanted to play late at night. I mean, sure, you could use the standard controller, but that took away 90% of what made that game special. Then of course was the Dance Dance Revolution pad. Even years later, there was still something unmatched about stepping onto a mat and recreating the arcade experience right in your living room. And just when you thought accessories couldn't get any more wilder, Capcom released one of its most legendary collector's items in gaming, the Resident Evil 4 chainsaw controller. I mean, yeah, it's an actual chainsaw with button placements, and the fact that you can actually rev the controller like a real chainsaw and it actually makes sound effects, that's pretty awesome. It has become a holy grail in the Resident Evil community, being so that it was only limited to around 50,000 units. However, that wasn't the weirdest accessory ever made. That honor might belong to the Japan exclusive PS2 title called Res, which shipped with something known as the Trans Vibrator. And it is what you're thinking. See, the device pulsed alongside with music, attempting to immerse players through vibration and rhythm. Well, let's be honest, if this was released in the US, it probably would have been used for something else. But not all of them were as weird and wacky as you think they were. Some were genuinely ahead of their time. For example, when Sony released the redesigned PS1 in the year 2000, they paired it with a clip-on LCD screen that transformed the console into something surprisingly portable. It had built-in speakers, a compact design. I mean, suddenly you can take a home console experience on the go. And I still remember seeing kids bring these to school and play Spyro. I mean, that was pretty awesome. So I'll give Sony props for that one. That was an amazing accessory. Now, if you need to prove that companies were willing to try anything, look no further for the Xtertainment bike for the Super Nintendo. You see, Nintendo partnered with Life Fitness to create a system that combined gaming with physical workouts. Decades before fitness gaming became mainstream, I'll give it to them. It was ambitious, maybe a little bit too much. Unfortunately, only a couple games supported it, and despite the innovative idea, it really never truly caught on. And you know, the cool part is that it even shows how far back Nintendo was going for to make gaming be more than just a sedentary hobby and include more physical aspects to it.
Look forward to exercise for a change. Look forward to a healthy life. Look forward to fun. Look forward to the Xtertainment system from Life Fitness. Call now.
Looking back, gaming companies weren't afraid to experiment, and some of those ideas were completely ridiculous. But that willingness to take risks is exactly what made that era feel so special. But back then, you never really knew what companies were going to try next, and maybe that unpredictability is exactly what made growing up with those consoles so unforgettable.